Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nanda Fatul Muslimin, and I will show you about my presentation of Islamic economics. I'm using this application because it's like people who presenting in a pandemic era. So here we start. First, we move to the definition. What is Islamic economics and what's the difference between it and conventional economics? So, Islamic economics is a scientific system that studies economics problem and makes Islamic value the basis and foundation in every activity. And the difference with the conventional economics is a science that study human behavior in fulfilling unlimited needs. So the next one is characteristic of Islamic economics. First, there is a recognition of individual rights, but it is limited so that monopolies do not harm the general public. The second one is there is a concept of halal and haram, where all goods and services, products must be free from haram elements which are prohibited in Islam. And the third one is there is a belief that humans only hold the mandate from the Almighty. All property owned by human comes from Allah, who is all everything. The fourth one is there is recognition of the rights of the people or the general public, where the rights of the people take precedence over the right. So we move to Islamic economic principle. First, Islamic economics preventing social inequality. Surah Nur, verse 56, and establish prayers, pay zakat, and obey the apostles, so that you will be given mercy. In Islamic economy, it is prioritized to provide assistance to other people in need, although it still allows competition. This does not mean putting aside concern for others and the environment. Next is prohibiting the practice of riba. As stated in the letter of Al-Baqarah verse 278, the Islamic economic system prohibits the practice of usury in any economic activity because it is considered to torment borrowers, especially those who are less fortunate. And the third, not depend on fate or luck. Everything related to gambling and relying on luck is something that is prohibited in Islamic economics. Why? The principle of Islamic economics refer to the clarity of transaction and does not depend on unclear luck, let alone to neglect hard work and effort. And next, the scope of Islamic economic system. First is by in the sale and purchase between objects for objects or the exchange of objects. The second one is akad, is an agreement in an akad is an agreement. This agreement between two or more parties to do and or not to take legal action. The next one is shirkah. Shirkah is cooperating between two or more people in terms of capital, skill, or trust in a certain business with profit sharing based on ratio. And the source, this is the main of the Islamic economics. Source of Islamic economics. The first one is Al-Quran. Absolutely. Al-Quran is the first and main source for Islamic economics, in which we can find matters relating to economics, and there are also laws about riba in it. The second one is Sunnah. Sunnah is the second source in Islamic legislation. In Sunnah, we can find Sharia economics rules. The third one is truth of ijtihad. Ijtihad is agreement from ulama, so that we can find any many many circle about it. So that's all about I can say about my presentation. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for lack of my video because I'm still running, and I hope this will be forgiven. This presentation is going to be my assignment of my work. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.